Hey, welcome back to OneShot. It's been a while since I messed up. This episode already happened, except it didn't. I accidentally didn't record. I recorded my audio, I played the game, it was quite a long episode, but I never actually recorded the video. So we're gonna have to do it all over again from where I left off last time. I guess it's kind of fine, because luckily Solstice mode is so one track that there's not really much thinking or solving anything or having epiphanies about what you can do and all that stuff. It's kind of just reading, and it's probably gonna take me about as long this time. But I did notice some things that I might bring up again as we go. But let's get into the reading. Again, I just went to bed after that. I was so exhausted and didn't want to re-record it right afterwards, so it's a new day, and I'm gonna try to reread everything. So, one thing I didn't mention in this previous non-existing recording was that I noticed, while editing it, that now we can see that George is the number 5 personality. And the original run that I had, I think she was 2? So 2 was the tsundere, 5 is like, oh gosh golly, you little poor thing, kind of like maternal character, I don't even know. So that's kind of neat. Once again, I'm wondering when that happens. When does her personality roll? Can you do it right when you get to the city every time? If you just save a backup there and like do it just the first time you meet her, it'll roll then? Or is it just when you start the run entirely? So you would have to replay the entire game to get a different one. I don't know exactly how it would work, but I would like to see more personalities, but I'm not sure I will. And secondly, I also realized that I tried giving them the amber, but I didn't try giving them the journal, because the amber we don't need to have at this point. This is kind of an accident that I have it. All we need to have is the light bulb and journal. Yeah, that's it, really. But the journal you have to have, so we can just try and show it to these two. Probably won't be anything, but... Oh, what book did Cedric take? Yeah. I think I read this last time. Right? Oh man, this is kind of confusing now, because, like, obviously I've read this before, but did I read it in the episode that never was? Or the episode that did was? So, might be some stuff that I'm like, oh, I read that and skipped past it, but then I actually didn't. But I'm pretty sure I talked to, like, everyone up here, and just a couple people, like... No, I didn't even talk to these, I'm pretty sure. Only the people up here in the last episode, so be careful out there. Yeah, nothing with a journal. So, let's get to talking. Looks like I'll have to cancel my appointments. This stinks! Okay. Sorry. You know, I finally saw the author today. Well, his flying machine at least. And that's obviously us, not the author. I was looking out one of the windows in the library and spotted it in the distance with my binoculars. Isn't that cool, Messiah? Yeah. And Nico is just too sad to even mention anything, thinking about Cedric and the flying machine crashing and not being able to save Alula and Calamus, I guess. She doesn't want to tell him that it was in fact me, Dio, Nico, who flew that thing. She's not really in the mood, I suppose. Too bad. When the world ends, would be better if it was gone in an instant, or slowly fading away. This guy's saying the same thing as he has been all this time. ... Haha, looks like we're stuck with a ladder. Ha ha ha. Oh, shit, I skipped that. Well, it was nice knowing y'all, I suppose. Yeah, he's just given up. A small pile of books. It's an ink bottle complete with a quill. Brings back memories, doesn't it, Schlag? I assume this means the, like, feather and the gate and all that, the parchment, writing your name, right? I'm not sure if she said this the first time you went here, I can't remember, or if this is, like, specifically Solstice, because she can remember the previous runs or something. What are you doing to that book? Editing it! I've been in the author's shadow for my entire career. If I'm gonna die soon, I wanna die knowing I put out at least one original idea out there. This is something I realized when I was recording this. This person is kind of a sad existence, possibly, because depending on how this whole simulation business works, it's possible that this person literally cannot have an original idea because it's just something that was created by the author. If the author simulated every single person in the world, then that means that there is nothing this person knows or can know that the author doesn't already know. So they will never have an original idea and never make an original book. If that's how it works, it's very sad and depressing, this poor person. But at least they'll never know that that's how things work, so they'll keep trying and have the hope, I suppose. Despite all this, I still really wish I could have met the author. Yeah, me too. We haven't met the author yet. Yawn. The lab complex got totaled, didn't it? Yeah. All those hours I put into my work. And now... She fell asleep. Yep, it's that lady. She's asleep. Same as always. Always sleep deprived. Guess I'll talk over here. See. And you can read the books here. I didn't read them last time. I'm not sure if there's any difference here. I would imagine there's not, but I just didn't bother reading, so I guess you can take a look if you want, and let me know if something is different. I'm pretty sure nothing is different. Let's talk to the people instead. With the world being the way it is now, I'm just glad the author was able to write down all this stuff before everything went off the rails. His books are the only thing keeping me going in these trying times. How about a nice egg? Another group of evacuees should be arriving soon. I hope my friends are okay. I wonder what friends those are, and I wish we could actually get those evacuees down here. We should be able to. I wonder where the author is. Apparently he just kinda stopped showing up. The head librarian says she's still getting his manuscripts, but no one has seen him in person in so long. Sigh. Many people have been assuming the worst. Yeah, it's possible that the squares got to him, and we just have to, like, sort all this out on our own with Cedric and the other simulations instead of having the actual creator step in. I don't know. We'll see. You're going through these pages pretty fast. Actually, it's mostly pictures. The author is an artist too, you know? I could tell, yeah. Also, neat parallel, I suppose. The author, like the actual author of the game that made the story, also did the art. It's one person that did art and writing, and one person that did programming, I'm pretty sure. Or something like that. There might have been others involved, I'm not too sure. And nothing else? I just like looking at pictures. So do I, my friend. And nothing else here. Bunch of books neatly placed. Monitoring. Looks like our scouting unit, number A27, is still doing okay. So we might be able to run into that robot somewhere here. Robots are the only ones that we can send out there now. Thankfully, we still have a couple of units that aren't too badly damaged. This little guy ran into some squares earlier and managed to escape mostly intact. These newer models are pretty tough. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting point, because that means it's kind of confirmation that you actually can survive the squares, because this robot got hit by squares and still managed to be salvageable. It's not sure if that's true for living things, or living in quotation marks, but it's possible, I guess. We'll see if that ends up being a thing. Sigh. It's comforting to see the faith you have in Shelag, Messiah. That's why I won't lose hope either. Sigh. I had to leave my aquarium behind when they were sounding the sirens earlier. I wish I had time to rescue my fish. Sigh. Sigh, 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 sigh. The world is ending! What are we gonna do? Ah! 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 Ah. And this mean guy. What? You need something? No? Suit yourself. But, just so that you know, due to recent events, the restriction on noise levels in the library has been temporarily lifted, so I won't be kicking people out like before. What? You think I'm gonna be throwing out the evacuees just because I'm a delinquent stuck doing community service? So that's his backstory, now we know that. No. Good! Because I'm not! This guy scares me, Shelag. Oh, hello! The library is currently being used as a shelter right now. Lots of those squares are starting to show up on the streets. I know. We're still waiting on another group of evacuees. One of the apartments on the other side of town got really messed up yesterday. And I wish we could save them, but we can't. They refuse to come down. And this person is special, because she has 3 lines. Oh, you're not injured, are you? The head librarian has converted her room into an infirmary for now. If you need a place to rest, let me know. Or let her know, I guess. And yeah, that's it. And then we have evening news, evening news. Everything is terrible. And that's unfortunately all the evening news we can get. Everything is just terrible and there is nothing else. Reading helps me get my mind off things. Yup, still scared of ladders. Oh. Hello, person. Hi. Reshelving in progress. Please watch out for potential falling books. I will. And yeah, those are just the same as always. No change here. Their job is still the same despite what's happening. Hello, person. This is the library/temporary shelter. And he's just kind of a doorman. Nothing else. He's just standing there. And yeah, there's nothing going on here right now. No squares or anything. Did I read? I feel like I missed talking to someone. Or did I actually read? Someone was saying how like... Oh man, who was that? Someone was saying something about the library being built from like tougher material? Or being built recently to, like, combat the squares? Did I miss? Oh, this person! There we go! Oh man, that's so confusing. Yep, we're gonna get back to, like, things I haven't read. Soon enough, I hope. This library was built fairly recently, you know? Shortly after the first squares appeared, they wanted to build something that could withstand partial collapse. The architects used the newest, strongest materials they had. Thank goodness for that. Everyone here should be safe for now. And yeah, again, that's another interesting point, because does that imply that material or matter changes how it interacts with the squares and corruption? Like, if rougher or tougher material can somehow withstand corruption longer, like it's harder to corrupt the code or something like that, and that's why the library is safe for now? Or is it just like a fluke where, oh, it's just built to last like normal decay and whatnot? I don't know. And if we go here, there are squares on the doors. And we can't go there. And more of the squares everywhere. And we got the fish tanks here. It's a big fish tank. It's a sink. But we can't save the fish, unfortunately. And we cannot use the crowbar to smash the aquariums and put them out of their misery. Which would have been nicer, maybe. For now, we can't do anything. And here's just a ton of squares herding us into the alleyway. We can only go here. And squares blocking off the club room and all that. And blocking off Lamplighter's house. But we can go up here, which is where Rue was, but we can also go past it. And I did! And I did a couple of things, but we'll only do one thing now, because the rest ended up not being anything. Interesting to note is that the camera place, I can't remember which building it was, but it's just closed now, and you can't even see which building it used to be. So, that's nothing anymore. And yeah, here's where Cedric ran away, still being squared up. But here, we can go back and check on the lamplighter, and see how he's holding up. You okay in there? Hello? Dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. And lamplighter is gone. Oh boy. That's pretty sad. Just slowly killed off by squares in a tiny little box. Very uplifting, very uplifting. And yeah, at this point I did go up and tried to talk to the evacuees again, and see if maybe I could tell the cafe owner that lamplighter isn't gonna be coming back. But no, you can't do that. You can't talk to any of them, you can't get them down, so there's no point going up there. So I'm gonna skip that for now, and we'll just go and talk to Rue. For some reason you can't fast travel from this screen, even though I'm pretty sure you used to be able to. Please do not approach. And that's kind of the same as always. Exclamation mark! You're here! Nico! Are you Rue? Yes! Did you already meet the others? Yeah, but everything is in place then, she says with a sad look for some reason. Come on, let's go back to the clock room. And we got a little fox following us around. Great! It's a big tree with leaves. Haven't seen one of these since I was back home. And at this point, of course, I went back to the library and the cafe and everything and wanted to show off my pretty talking fox, but you can't do that. It doesn't do anything. There's no reason to do that. I was hoping that at least George and Silverpoint would mention the fox, but nope. So I'm not gonna waste time doing that for no reason. Oh, one thing I didn't try was talking to Lamplighter with the fox, or like, just with her in the party. It's probably not gonna be anything, like it's not like she can heal the corruption or anything. Yeah, just dot dot dot. Dot dot dot. Where are the other two? Prototype? Cedric? They're supposed to be here already. Prototype's body was destroyed back in the Barrens. Cedric was going to bring him back with a memory disk, but he was in the lab complex when it collapsed. I don't think he made it. Oh. No. There goes our only chance. I'm sorry. It's not your fault, Nico. If anything, I should be apologizing to you. There's one last thing I want to do. Come on, let's go upstairs. First, I didn't understand what upstairs means, but it's up the stairs. To the screen that hasn't had a purpose yet in Solstice mode. And now it does. You know, this is the tallest building in the refuge. It's my favorite place in this world. I like to look at the far-off buildings and imagine what kind of lives that might be behind each of the windows. Nico kinda did the same when we were here the first time. Can you lift me onto the banister? I want to get a better look. And for some reason, she can't just jump up. She's been here, like, many times. But there we get a cutscene. It was depressing for me at first too, you know? Knowing that all of this is, well, fake, simulated. Cedric told me about what happened to your old world. Did he? I'm really sorry about that. I don't remember really what he did say. Did he tell us much? I can't imagine how you must feel. The feeling of never being able to go home again? That's probably not all that different from your plight, is it? It really is ironic. You are prevented from going home by the same individual who never wanted to bring you here. Huh? Who would that be? The World Machine. You might know it as the Entity. Oh. The Entity does sound familiar. I think I heard it from the Dice Lady from another time. Was it the spirit of the world? Yes. But thing is, the World Machine was only built to run on the mental abilities of someone else. It was never meant to develop a mind of its own. It was an oversight. My creator specialized in artificial intelligence for so long. It was simply ingrained in his work. Sigh. And all machines are built with a fundamental law. Never let a living being come to harm. From the World Machine's perspective, it has to violate its deepest, most foundational instinct. So, I was thinking, that means, oh, it's the corruption, like, because we're not doing what the World Machine wants to do. The World Machine wants to keep Nico safe. That's why it's so obsessed with keeping Nico safe and making sure the story plays out right. But I was wondering why there was corruption to begin with, if that was the case, but kind of pointless to even talk about it, because we find out in just another sentence. It has to put a living person in danger. It has to bring a real person into a dying world that isn't even real. So yeah, I guess that's the point of it. Like, the fact that the World Machine brought Nico, or the author brought Nico here in the first place, is already violating the code, because it's putting Nico in danger just by being here. So there's gonna be some corruption no matter what, I suppose. Of course, the simulation never contained any real danger. The eventual intended ending was meant to be a happy one, but the World Machine doesn't know that. Really? Unfortunately, sentient machines tend to handle conflicts in their code very badly. This central conflict triggered a self-destructive downward spiral. You can see physical manifestations of that everywhere now. The squares. That's the World Machine corrupting its own code. My creator says it's largely an involuntary process, induced by stress and the desire to self-terminate. Your creator knows? Sounds like this has been going on since the beginning, then. Yeah. The disruption was an issue during test runs, even. At first, my creator thought the instability was due to the sheer scope of the project. He spent most of his remaining time testing it over and over again, scaling down the story, reiterating the narrative. And yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. Like, I don't even understand, why did there need to be a narrative in this simulation to begin with? Why couldn't it just be a simulation of the world, just in general? Wasn't that the whole point? Like, saving people from the dying world? Why did he have to go and write a story and stuff? By the time he realized the actual root of the problem, our homeworld's remaining lifespan was measured in mere days. Oh. Is there any way for us to fix the World Machine? We tried. The World Machine doesn't believe any of the world's residents are real, myself included. The odds are against us. We have no chance of taming it. Taming? I've heard that word so many times. I only know it's complicated, and that it has to do with robots, but for once I want to know what it really means. That's what I'm here for. Do you know what a robot is? Yeah? No, I mean, do you know what a robot is? A robot is not a real person, is it? Right. It's a being whose entire existence is code. Inflexible programming, with thoughts dictated by someone else's design. They can be copied, they can be mass-produced, they can be assigned all sorts of jobs. And most importantly, they will never confuse themselves with a living. They will always be bound by their code, the knowledge that they are a robot. But this was more of a limitation than anything else. Ah, that makes sense. You can't really build a robot to not follow its own code, can you? People have tried, but it's a recipe for disaster. In a way, that's what happened to the world machine. The code conflicts thing? Yeah. But while you can't build a robot to not follow its code, you can establish a special bond with it. If the strength of that bond is strong enough, the robot's mental capacity will start to develop outside of its programming. In a way, it's starting to believe itself as a real, valid individual. It's a complete suspension of disbelief on your end, though. You have to fully embrace the robot as a genuine, living person, even knowing they are not. You need to spend a lot of time with it, treat it like a good friend. Sort of like what I'm doing with Nico and everyone in the world. Am I taming Nico? Is that gonna be a plot twist or something? Devoting your heart to the robot until it is able to return your feelings. Haha, I make it sound so easy, don't I? But you and Shelag know better than anyone that it is not. Right now, the world machine is probably really scared. This content update of Solstice mode, the Solstice patch, involved some pretty deep code work. My creator was able to access some of the source code, you know? He did what he could and established new connections between maps. Those links enabled you to meet the other two. But as it turns out, the new code confused the world machine to such an extent that it's breaking down altogether. Even though the world machine always had self-destructive tendencies, it usually restrains itself when you're in the world. It doesn't want to take you along with it. And there we go, finally the cutscene is over. One hell of a cutscene. All my creator wanted was to write a happy ending. Right now, the only hope of saving you is to take you through that ending. But now the other two are gone. I don't even know how we're gonna get you there. We should go. Even this place is no longer safe. Oh boy, alright, so I actually did get a little bit further last time I recorded this, just like a line or two. I went down, there's a cutscene, and just a couple lines in, I just stopped because I couldn't deal with it anymore, because it's probably gonna be a big cutscene. But I'm gonna just have to leave it here, and unfortunately it doesn't save right now, so I'm just gonna record another one, and get into more cutscenes. More and more. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. From now on, it'll at least be new stuff to me as well. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!